The topic of the class today is Introduction to Feedback Amplifiers. So let me quickly define what is an amplifier first. An amplifier is an electronic device which increases a weak signal to a strong signal. That is, if a millivolt signal is given as input to the amplifier, it will amplify it, it will strengthen its amplitude, and the output may be in few volts, and its phase all depends on the type of amplifier we have selected over here. In this, there is no connection between output to input, so it is an open loop amplifier. An amplifier is an electronic device which increases the strength of weak signal to a strong signal. This is an open loop amplifier. There is another type of amplifier known as closed loop amplifier or feedback amplifier, in which the part of output is fed back to the input. So there are types of, so by this we can have in one more concept of feedback. What is feedback? Feedback is a process. Feedback is a process. So what is feedback? When the part of output is fed back to the input, it is known as feedback. So the what type of feedback we can connect to this amplifier? We can have two types of feedback. One is positive feedback and another one is negative feedback. Okay, so how can we classify it? So here if we take this diagram, block diagram, an amplifier of gain A, for taking a part of output back, for injecting back to the input, we have taken a feedback network of ratio beta. So when a part of output is fed back to the input, we say this as a feedback. So when the feedback signal, so Vs is a source signal, Vi is input signal, V0 is a output signal. So we are taking a fraction of output is taken and is fed to the input. So this is known as Vf. When the feedback signal is in same phase with the incoming signal, we say it has positive feedback. That is, if the incoming signal is of this nature and this feedback signal is also of the same phase, this is plus, so here it is plus. It is known as positive feedback. Okay, and when in this second block diagram, we have taken an amplifier of gain A, feedback network of ratio beta, and we are taking a fraction of output signal and feeding back or injecting to the input signal, which is in opposite phase with the input signal. Vs is shown by plus sign and Vf is shown by minus sign. Both are of opposite polarity. Suppose this is Vs is positive, the Vf will be negative, like this. So for positive half cycle, you are getting the minus of Vf. Okay. So when the feedback signal is out of phase with the input signal, we say as negative feedback. So what is feedback? Feedback is a process of injecting part of output back to the input. There are two types of feedback, positive feedback and negative feedback. When the feedback signal is in phase with the incoming signal, it is known as positive feedback. When the feedback signal is out of phase with the incoming signal, is known as negative feedback. So this positive feedbacks are generally used in oscillators because they produce oscillations. Positive feedback produce oscillations, so we use them generally in oscillators. Negative feedback is used in amplifiers because it amplifies the signal. Okay, so by this we have understood there are two types of amplifiers. So what is an amplifier? An amplifier is an electronic device which increases the weak signal to a strong signal. They are of two types, open loop amplifiers and closed loop amplifier. So when there is a feedback process, it is known as closed loop amplifier, also known as feedback amplifier. Okay. Why it is used in amplifier? Because it provides stability. The negative feedback provides stability of the signal, whereas the positive feedback generates oscillations, so they are used in oscillators. I hope you have understood the introduction of feedback amplifiers. Thank you. Good luck, students.